dinner with you, weren't they?
But we did want to have Lyneir talk briefly about this project, and because you know a lot about it. But then we're going to organize ourselves to take a quick picture.
Yeah, let's go with Soul Saver.
Middle of the driveway, is that right?
Ultimately end up wanting to get a class action for the Baltimore
You okay?
Cole, I want to give us a quick remark. This is Cole.
All right. Quick remark.
So, we have a contract to buy this shopping center, and we hope it will be our first project in Chicago that has more than 50 community investors, as we've done in Baltimore. The cool thing about this project is I want to let the present ownership team sort of tell you about it. For us, it's significant because this was an owner, black-owned development company that's done a number of remarkable projects in Chicago. And for us to buy it, a black-led company buying a shopping center from a black developer is revolutionary in itself. But then also given all the vision that they initially had here now 15 years ago to facilitate the community to own 20 or 30 or 40% of the shopping center is something that's really special. So Ryan, where's Ryan? Right here. Oh, great. Ryan, please tell a little bit about the project. This is Cleveland, Detroit, Baltimore.
That's right. Do not fight.
because they got an audience.
Yeah, don't fight.
I gotta get this on camera.
Do not fight. Yeah.
Into the Roseland community. Right now we are in the center of Roseland. As you see, we've got the medical office building and the retail center here. It's a 27,000 square foot facility. We've got materials, by the way, which we'll
We've got 10 folders with materials, so we can pass those along, and someone will have to share. But
That's okay.
And so we're right across the street from Roseland Hospital, which you can see right there. It's a 134 bed hospital.
I want to make sure we have one.
In the area, this community within about 5 miles, you've got about 470,000 people, 400 people work for the hospital. So it was very strategic for us to build, a medical office building in this location. We're about, equidistant from 2 major highways, I-57 and I-94. This center is 100% leased right now.
Nice.
7 of the 8 tenants here were here when we completed construction back in 2008, which I think speaks to our management. We are, the hospital is also one of the busiest emergency rooms in the city, which I think is notable.
I understand why now.
It's Chicago.
If this is so revenue positive, why exit?
Yes, I was just going to ask
What's
you.
next?
I think DL3's mission is to create projects that revitalize communities. I think we're mission accomplished on this. We're a developer. So what we want to do is develop and exit and do it again, and exit and do it again. So we've just completed sort of a great project, and it's stabilized and it's sustainable. So now's a good time.
Say a minute about the medical district that you all created here.
Yeah.
I was just gonna. I was like, dude, we want to go inside, so it's everyone's not in the hall.
Oh, sorry. We weren't sure if there were like patients inside or like.
I don't want to be crazy.
She's looking like a.
I tried to. I tried to avoid it, but
Coming out on us. looks a little bit more than that.
And we received a designation of the 7B for property tax incentive for commercial developments, that revitalized communities, and we were the first renewal of a 7B a couple of years ago.
Who was the CDE intermediary?
I don't know that.
Right up there.
Sure, my colleague may know, and we'll let you know. And then, pardon us. We are, so someone asked a question about the medical district. The medical district was, I believe it was created in 2013?
Yeah, and the
13?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So, as if people that are closer to Illinois, Chicago, there is Illinois Medical District right by UIC in the West Loop. This medical district was created about 2013. It was funded by the state of Illinois in 2022 for $25 million. So there was an earlier question, why exit, right? DL3 is not exiting from Roseland. We're exiting from this asset, but we're not necessarily exiting from Roseland per se. Another thing that $25 million, and it's in the folders, is that the city of Chicago adopted a Roseland Medical District revitalization plan, right? We do plan to look at some of those opportunities such as vacant land that's still available, and to be able to see if there's opportunities for us to invest and develop those that land as well. So some of the other things to keep in mind is 2020 we had the pandemic. A lot of disproportionate lives obviously lost in neighborhoods like Roseland and other parts of Chicago where, whether it's testing, whether it's public health pronouncements, all not going through. So there's definitely a need for it. Population loss, obviously, that's not only confined to Roseland, but that's also throughout parts of Chicago. And so we are also invested and involved in affordable housing. We're doing 2 affordable housing projects that are under construction right now, one in Woodlawn, one in Englewood. And so the other thing that we'd like to see if there's opportunities to bring in affordable housing or housing that's more, cost accommodative to the population. And then, jobs is the other piece, right? Besides, this shopping center recently, what we did was we acquired 2 closed down Target boxes that were about 100,000 square feet. And the first one we did was in Marshfield, so it's about 1.5 miles from here. And that created about 500 jobs that were call center, customer service oriented. So where they have committed to hiring within 5 miles of that center, right? So it's accessible to the people that are high school graduates or people that have gone to the city colleges or community colleges in the neighborhood.
A couple of other quick points about Roseland. We are in the Roseland Medical District, as we said earlier. The city of Chicago completed a master plan for this strip in 2023, so that's really exciting. Also in 2023, the Red Line Extension project, which extends one of the major CTA lines right here to like 2 blocks away at 111th and Wentworth. So this area is going to see amazing growth, so it's a great investment. And then one other note about the area, this medical district abuts the Pullman National Park, which is just to the east, which was dedicated by President Obama, I believe, in 2015. So that's a huge asset for the city, for the area, and there's a lot of excitement. So I think that kind of wraps up the any questions, and then we can take people up in waves.
Question.
Yeah.
So y'all manage the property?
Yes, we do manage the property in partnership with a property management,
And so the strip mall is from here to this building, or is it? I see.
Stops here.
No,
Okay,
it stops here.
gotcha.
That's what you see. All right.
So the deal will include the office.
Yes.
So
the
it's
deal-
actually mixed use because it's office and retail.
Yep.
Correct.
So-
Lyneir, I love this for you.
And there will be community, is this the first project where the residents, can you explain that a little?
Right, so when we started our model, it's really funny. So we bought the first shopping center, we, did this broad outreach for just folks we know. It's like, hey man, you want to invest 50,000? You want to invest 20,000? You want to invest 50,000? We bought our first shopping center. The second one, the owner was when we bought it, we hired a black leasing agent and property manager. They now have equity in the second little shopping center we bought here. Third shopping center, we found the business owner. So it's the anchor tenant plus the leasing agent and property manager. It wasn't until we got to Baltimore where we were invited, but when we met with the city's economic development people, they were like, oh, why is some Chicago firm buying a shopping center and economic development project? That was the question. And I was like, well, we've been thinking about, could we democratize ownership? And he started introducing us to all of the, I'm trying to think of the proper word. My grandmother would call them hootie hoos, all of the power brokers in Baltimore. You should meet this guy, you should meet this guy. Right. And so we had met this lady who had launched this crowdfunding platform, and I said, well, let's just try this. Right. And so we went out and said, when's the last time someone knocked on your door and said you want to own something in your community? And we got a positive news article, and you've heard before, within a couple months, we had 130 local people that invested $300,000. Nobody thought, and this is the toughest part of West Baltimore. So it's the same model that we've been wanting to try here, to find the right project where there's enough of a story that the operating pro forma works, right? I always say the narrative and the numbers. So based on the agreement that we've negotiated to acquire the shopping center, we believe over time there'll be enough return for it to be positive. Given all of the other announcements about new development, the hospital, the red line, the park, all of those other things are positive. And this is it's sort of two parts of the community. There's a substantially low income part of Roseland, and there's a moderately affluent, moderately income. Is that fair to describe it? So our expectation is that we're going to do the same thing: meetings in church basements, community rooms, apartment building common area, and get local people to say, you want to invest $500 or $1,000 here and have a stake in their neighborhood. Right? It's something that we believe over time this property will appreciate in value. And so I was telling Bob, who I was sitting next to as we were driving down, like, well, it's the first time trying Chicago. I'm like, cautiously optimistic, right? What, can I get 20 people, 50 people? I don't know how it will be received in Chicago, but I know it's a positive story of carrying on the legacy. This, again, Ryan and the team are being somewhat modest. I mean, Leon has done phenomenal work in neighborhoods, pioneered community-oriented development, anchor development, strategies of doing the first grocery store in neighborhoods and that type of work. And so the work that they've created here in creating this medical district and working with the hospital of keeping this as a first-class building is a story I think we'll be able to get other people excited about.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I understand that Fresenius and Chicago Family Health, which is you may know Fresenius, they do dialysis care, and Chicago Family Health is a federally qualified health center, based here in the Southside neighborhood. But this center offers a nice mix of medical services that complement, the hospital, especially with the urgent care. We, invested, a little over $5 million. The tenants, like if now we can't see Fresenius, but they invested millions of dollars. Chicago Family did too, in the facility. So signs of, real investment and really interesting compliments.
30% of the tenants in our existing shops are healthcare. So this thought of having healthcare and services, I remember when we first started this, where I was like, we're not talking about Cheesecake Factory and West Elm and Best Buy. This is carry out pizza where you go to get a haircut. We have pediatric daycare and some dental and things of that sort. So this fit with our strategy of it's health. It's a community on the cusp of change. We believe there's some positive things that are about to happen. We have a little adjacent site that we're hoping to may do some development on here as part of the transaction. So, time will tell. So we're optimistic.
So with FQHCs being federally regulated, how seamless was it to get them in here as a tenant? And was it like a new process with HRSA or whatnot? Because it seems like if I'm not mistaken, that's more of an acre, if you will, because it's federally funded, so it's kind of.
I'm gonna look over at our broker, Triu, who was talking earlier, but I mean, I do believe there's a medically underserved area definition that you need to fit.
And Chicago Family Health Center, that's the FQHC, so they did the needs analysis back in 2007, 2008 timeframe. So they were qualified since, until that time. As far as what our process, we had to deliver essentially a white box to them, so they did the federally certified build out and all of that. That was part of their scope of work. Yeah.
And each tenant built out their own box.
Correct.
Including each tenant did.
Good stuff. So this was meant to be just a taste. I was hoping today that we were going to say, and today you can invest. We're probably 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away from. In fact, I'm shooting the video, the community investment vehicle video on Thursday morning, and we really are working like certainly during the month of February to launch the campaign, and ideally we're going to acquire the center in April or May sort of time frame.
Last question.
Yeah.
Is like, what percentage do you hope to, like realistically, would you say was in excess if it was community owned versus your ownership?
20%.
Okay.
So our model is set up that is if as little as 5% we'll invest the other 95% equity. Ideally, it's 20. It could be as much as 41%. So if we got right in that 20%, I think which in this project, I think we're projecting it takes about $2 million of equity. $2.2 million of equity. So if we could raise even $200,000, $400,000, we would be excited.
Yeah, it's good. It's doable.
And at 20 is so funny because I'm so managing expectations. I'm like, if we just raise $100,000, I'll be elated, right? So that because I just don't know what the response will be. So we're gonna do it. So watch.
It depends on how sexy the video is.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's good stuff. Good stuff.
And then I just want to amend my statements that our property manager just reminded me that Cermak subleases space to a dentist. So we actually, in addition, offer dentistry as well. So it's a real suite.
Big plus.
Yeah.
Say one more minute about other tenants here and property management sort of.
Well, I'm mainly the director of operations for DL3 Realty. I've been with them for 20 plus years, and so I've been with them since this building was built. Our original tenants: Chicago Family Health, Fresenius, Subway, on and on. That we have our original tenants here, and it's all about relationships. And I think that's what matters when you have a tenant that you need to respond to in a timely manner to get things done in a timely manner to make sure they have the confidence in you to make sure that the building is running smoothly.
Is it all triple net or is it a mix?
I'm sorry?
All triple net?
It's a mix.
Mix.
It's a mix.
Okay.
It's a mix, yeah.
So like some of the smaller tenants are gross tenants, like, Subway tenants, but the Fresenius and the Family Medical Center, they're triple net.
Also, another feature here at this building, the Roseland Medical Center was the first medical building to have a green roof as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's another very, very unique thing that.
How big of a headache has that been? I mean, from the owner's side, is it
No,
no
not
leaks
one.
or no?
No, you just maintain it just like anything
Yeah,
else.
gotcha.
Do you get a break
Trade-based
from the
system,
city
so
on
it's
the
easy to-
stormwater bill because of that?
You know what? I have to address that to the staff.
Excuse me?
Do you get a break from the city on your stormwater bill because of the rain?
Not on the water bill. I think the break was part of when we were constructing it.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
part of when we were first constructing it as part of the new markets tax credits. It was to show that we're building it up to the standards at the time and, being environmental. Yeah. So that was, I think, the plus point in our application.
So as we take a group up, I'm Ryan Green. You got Bill Smith here, Triu Patel, and Linda Hatara. We're all from DL3. Feel free to talk to any of us, and maybe
On this floor,
3 big tenants.
especially in the summertime, you can really look out and see a lot of good things happening here. This is a very good picture, so that you can really oversee things. In the daytime also too, you can see the green roof in the daytime as well, which is on the roof up here and above here too. I'm sorry, not here, but over there, yeah.
Just keep it up.
I'm impressed. Christ, you don't hear about a shopping center with a green roof every day.
Now that is
That's a
impressive.
first for me.
That's impressive.
Lyneir was like, we're gonna move to the shopping center. This is